Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2. So you got through that first week, that abbreviated week, and you're still with us, which is wonderful. I saw some really good work in that week. Specifically, I saw how you all really seem to engage and jump into these discussion boards, some of you with full gusto, with a lot of enthusiasm, which is wonderful to see. I really do appreciate that. It makes my job easier, but it makes a class like this also a lot more fun, a lot more interesting, which I do think helps with the learning process if you're having a little bit more fun. So what I saw, I really appreciated. So keep that up. I think the discussion boards are really fruitful, but they're only fruitful if you put in that time, if you put in that effort, if you really try to get something out of it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of challenging of all of you this semester, this term, when it comes to these discussion boards, about trying to stretch out your thoughts a little bit more, trying to deepen some of your comments. Sometimes you're tired, it's the end of the night, and you just want to type something up and be done and say, hey, I've got my thread created for the week. Yeah, but we want more than just 20 words or something like that. Something like Outlook is nice. No, give me more than that. So you're going to see me challenging you a lot to try to kind of get more out of these conversations. And that's really what it is. I'm not trying to just do this to be annoying. I'm doing this so that hopefully you get a lot more out of that. So we're working on a discussion board for this week. It's on Outlook. And so far what I've seen has been pretty good. So I'm going to be asking some questions, prompting you to think maybe a little differently about Outlook or how you use Outlook or how you think you might use Outlook on the job down the road. But you can also just kind of give your general thoughts about it. You know, I noticed something about Outlook over here, you might say, and it was really interesting. Did anybody else have this thought or something like that? Perfectly fine. Please definitely don't feel like you're constrained to only answering the questions that are those prompts for the week. So we're talking about that. You have a couple of assignments. You have a hardware assessment that you're going to be working on, which is basically just kind of testing you on how well you know certain bits of hardware, computer hardware, it's pretty straightforward, but get through that, take your time, go through it. There's a couple of short essay questions at the end. There's also going to be this, what we often call the email assignment, but it's much more than that. It's the information management systems assignment that I sent to all of you, and they are now starting to stream into me, which is good. Finish that up as well. Again, look at that. Make sure you're writing at least 150 words in your response to me when you're talking about Outlook in 365 and Outlook in the desktop version. And again, what I've seen so far has been pretty good. Keep working on that. The pause and practice exercises, there's a couple of them. You're going to see those every week, some pause and practice exercises. Again, these are not required, but they are highly recommended that you do them. You don't need to send them to me if you don't want. Sometimes the instructions say, send this to your instructor at the end. Don't feel like you have to do that. Really just check your work against the solution file and make sure that you did everything right, okay? These are not graded, but they're highly, highly, highly recommended. So I really encourage you to do that and actually work on those. So that's kind of the housekeeping for this week. In terms of what we're learning that's new, well, we're talking about some hardware stuff. We're also talking about some other things like cloud technology. We're also talking about something that you may or may not have heard of, which are operating systems. Microsoft Windows 10 is an operating system. That's the operating system that most PCs use. There's a question about, do you use PCs or Macs? Well, PCs usually, not always, but usually will use the Windows 10. That's the most up-to-date Microsoft operating system. Think of the operating system like the brain or the mind of your computer. These are things that are going on in the background that allow everything else to work, okay? So in order to have Microsoft Office work on your computer, you need to have this operating system that's kind of working behind the scenes. It's allowing all these different things to run on that platform, essentially. There's a lot more to it than that. We're not going to get into that, but just to kind of give you an understanding of what an operating system is supposed to do. Now, cloud technology. We're getting into that now. I have an infographic that I just posted, I think yesterday or 2 days ago on Blackboard, and that gives you a general rundown of what cloud technology is. What is it? Cloud technology is essentially all that computing stuff that you do that doesn't have to be run on your computer. You're running this through the internet. Now, by that, I mean you're running this on other companies' servers, other companies' computers. So in the infographic, I mentioned things like iTunes. We all know what iTunes is, or Netflix, right? Now, when you're watching something on Netflix, you're binge watching some show or something like that, are you having all those shows on your device, on your television or on your tablet? No, you're logging into this system and you're streaming it, meaning it's sitting on some other computer somewhere else and you're having access to it and you're streaming it through your device. This is cloud technology. Same thing goes with iTunes. You don't have to, when you buy all those songs in iTunes, you don't have to save them on your hard drive anymore. You save them on Apple's computers, which is what we call the cloud, okay? So the cloud technology is just when we're saving things on the internet or through the internet, might be another way of looking at it, and not on our computer. Now you can see how this might be beneficial, right? Computers crash. And if you have all this cloud technology, things stored, for instance, in OneDrive, and your computer crashes, you don't have to worry. Why? Well, when you get another computer, you can log in and boom, it's all there. It hasn't been lost. And trust me, I know. I've lost a lot of stuff when I had things saved on my computer and the computer crashed. So that's cloud technology. We'll touch upon that maybe a little bit next week as well when we start, or in 2 weeks, I think, when we start talking about browsers, and we'll kind of have a better understanding of what the internet itself is and then what browsers do. But cloud technology is really just that. It's doing all this work, all this computing, whether it's saving or running programs on the other computers through the internet and not on your own. So that's what Office 365 is. This is cloud technology. So I hope that does help. Now, when it comes to any kind of tips and tricks for the week that I want you guys to keep in mind, the big one that I've noticed in the discussion boards is, as you're writing these posts, and many of them are really, really good, make sure you're keeping an eye on your grammar. This is an easy way to lose points. So take a look at my t-shirt if you want to. It says, let's eat grandma, let's eat, comma, grandma. Punctuation saves lives. Ha ha ha, right? That's the importance of punctuation, okay? It's a silly thing, I understand, but note that I have to grade your grammar, or that's part of your overall grade. So make sure that you're rereading your posts before you hit that submit button, because if it's got a lot of errors in it, you're going to lose some really easy points. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be this week's tip. All right. There will be another announcement or two that are coming later this week, but I'm just going to shut up for now and let you do what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach me via Google Phone, Google Voice, my phone, or email, or my office hours, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Thank you, folks, and keep doing the hard work.